They're more concerned with their personal fears than the fear of the young party. To be seriously out there, speaking to the people about the party program with other actors in the opposition to figure out the best way of approaching the latest action of the party. Maybe your view is different, whether they actually are attractive to the naysayers, or indeed they speak big about the entire picture and work on it. You have seen a lot of effort, a lot of energy from my party descending on the person and the character of Matthias Mpuuga. You have seen my successor expending his little energy on me and my person. And then you're like, probably something is amiss. And they are hiding in corruption. In their warped view, when you fight Matthias Mpuuga, you have fought corruption.
They said they want to lead as an example as a party. That's what they're doing, that their own should be able to stand up.
Well, depending on whether they actually understand what they're doing. And in fact, if they actually have investigated and found me guilty of any wrong at law and common sense.
There is allegation that is rife that you seem to be in the departure lounge from your political party.
Well,
what would you want to respond to that?
That is for you, but I am a political animal. One of the strength that I have, that I know of myself, is that I have never failed to make a decision, however much tough, okay? And at any one time in my life, I have made decisions. And you see, I was schooled home by my old man that life is about making decisions, yeah, including wrong decisions. What should never happen is that somebody makes for you a decision. So I have the courage, I have the fire in my belly to make a decision.
Is departure part of that? Because you definitely seem uncomfortable with the area you're operating.
Well, when I say decisions, including a decision to stay or to take a leave. And when I make that decision, it will be from me. I don't want anybody to do that for me. So I have given my party time to reflect on whether they are serious with what's happening and how they're handling it.
How much time are you giving your party?
That is for me.
Okay.
Okay, that's for me. And but I also know that politics has a calendar. When they're not able to reflect within that calendar, then I'll have occasion to make a decision. Okay? Nobody can make for me a decision on what political direction to take. Well, as a human being, because I am not a loner, I prefer to work with people. I consult. I consult from all sorts of actors and interest parties on the best way to deal with the challenges when they arise. That has been part of me, and I'll continue consulting and give my party time, give my colleagues time to rethink how they have invested their energy and how they have expended so much resource and time to discredit me, and then they go out and chest thump that they have done so much.
So in the meantime, where are you currently in terms of relation with a political party, a political home, so to say? Would we say you are a lone stander?
No, the party is composed of so many people, leaders, supporters, voters, and followers. And I speak to all of these categories of people, okay? I speak to them. I don't have to hold a public meeting with them, but I speak to them. So many of them are deeply concerned. Deeply concerned. You see, we've had you speak to Matthias Mpuuga, you know, for colleagues in parliament. They're even being advised that if you speak to Mpuuga, you'll not get a party card. And I'm like, well, what are you dealing with? It's including threatening them. If you're going to go and sign that censure motion, you are in trouble. You see, the president is not happy with you, have not signed. Then you're like, so it's a question of making somebody happy? Or we are dealing with a Russian parliament? You slept on duty, and then you're blaming your voters now? You're trying to grandstand.
Okay. We'll definitely be delving deeper into the censure conversation, but when we look at National Unity Platform, Matthias Mpuuga, you've definitely belonged to the opposition all your political life, Democratic Party, and you can talk about it. Is the opposition currently providing the alternative leadership that it should be? Is it something to write home about?
Well, Mildred, that should be the biggest concern of every well-meaning Ugandan out there. That probably a year and a few months to go to the next political season, the opposition ordinarily should have been out there trying to figure out how to make a difference, how to act differently. Unfortunately, the vanguard opposition party, I should say, over the last 2 years, is investing energy in fighting an individual. You should know. Even before I ceased being a law, the fight was on, and a lot of energy was invested. If you ask party mobilizers, whoever goes there, you say, but you see, we can work, but make sure you don't work with Mpuuga. So you lost 2 years fighting an individual. So the question is, have you figured out what it means to have a base in Dokolo, in Yumbe, in Padera, in Kabong? Have you figured out? You don't even have an Elsonichia person in Kabong. But you're investing so much time and you still want to convince people that you have a mission to change this country. You would expect that at this stage that the opposition would be invested in internal conversations about possibilities. The possibilities are various. You have hosted here many opposition, individuals, and the messages are different.
Yeah.
When you speak to my old friend, Dr. Besigye, who tell you he is not interested in any conversation about participating in the next election, as long as it is organized in the same manner. It will simply be escorting General Museveni to the next swearing in. My party president wanted the election yesterday. So for him, bring it on anytime. My view is different. Okay. My view is that the opposition must be pushing for pre-election reforms to reform the manner of organizing these elections, to reform the way leaders are elected, including reforming parliament, the way members are elected, to reform the entire governance structure of decentralization, which is really way wide and failed because it has been tested and it's not working. For reforms.
Is this a conversation that you have been with in your political party? Because you were leader of opposition for 2.5 years. That's half the tenure itself. And the tagline for your party was, "We're removing a dictator." Have you veered off?
Well, I have engaged, not just in my party, but across parties.
Okay.
And I have sold my views on how best to deal with the current situation, because this country will transition. But we cannot transition and make the same mistakes. We must, the political class must come out honestly and discuss what has worked. We actually know what has failed. We also know what can work. We must begin engaging in a positive conversation about the possibilities. But when one platform says, bring it on, another platform says, we cannot go for it, it's not worth it, then there is a problem. This is the kind of conversation I'd rather see happen in the opposition, as opposed to the current, preoccupations where individuals are, struggling for supremacy. People want to be worshipped. People want to be really revered. That for me is really killing the entire motivation of individuals and groups that would have loved and worked to work with the opposition in the short term and the long term. And we are losing time, we are losing opportunities, and our groups, our platforms are getting increasingly fractured because views have not been harmonized. Okay. Every platform, or rather handle this differently, that does not augur well for the unity of the opposition. In Parliament, where I sit, the opposition platform is fractured. Fractured because of the manner in which we deal with the issues we agree upon and those we disagree upon. And unfortunately, there's not been occasion. Opposition leaders fear meetings. They fear to meet.
Why?
You ask them. Whoever you call, invite them. I want to be part of as many meetings as possible to discuss possibilities. Unfortunately, we don't seem to love to engage. We seem to love to make pronouncements that are not anchored on consensus and consultation. And that's a problem.
Thank you very much, Honorable Matthias. We'll need to take a very short commercial break. And when we do return, of course, we'll delve deeper into the conversation with regard to the censure motion. And also, here's one that led the opposition against the State of the Nation address, the boycott. Has this worked anyway? Is it still viable? That and much more when we do return.
We are Victoria University, the university of you, and we are built for change. We are researchers united across disciplines and entrepreneurs advancing innovations. We are students working together to challenge the status quo. Our secret? Work-integrated learning. We are a global community who drive meaningful, sustainable economic and social solutions through the power of partnerships. We unlock new possibilities to transform ideas into inventions, curiosity into action, and imaginations into impact. We do not fear the unknown. We thrive on opportunity to create, explore, and push boundaries. We are Victoria University, the University of Uganda, where collaboration drives the greatest impact. Victoria University, where your future begins. Let us build the future together.
Recharge your day with Sting. Extreme energy, refreshing taste, available countrywide. Sting, life switched on, from the makers of Pepsi.
The National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, calls upon all Ugandans to join millions of people across the world in commemorating World Environment Day on the 5th of June 2024 under the theme Land Restoration for Climate Resilience. This year's celebrations aim to ignite action towards restoring our precious lands for a more resilient future. This day serves as a reminder for us all to reflect on the actions we can take to protect and preserve our environment. The celebrations will take place in Sirongo District at Mafudu Primary School. Let your actions inspire others to follow suit, and together we can make a difference.
Dive into a world where local films take center stage globally, connecting communities and inspiring change. Welcome to the Uganda Film Festival 2024, where every frame tells an authentic story of resilience, cultural diversity, and the human experience. Join us from 17th May to 7th June for film screenings in all cinemas and vote for your best film under Viewer's Choice category. Don't miss film workshops and forums conducted by local and international experts. The festival climaxes with a glamorous prestigious awards gala night to reward and celebrate excellence in the film industry. The Uganda Film Festival 2024 is proudly brought to you by the Uganda Communications Commission. For more information, call the UCC toll-free line 0800-222-777. Local stories, global impact.
Is the perfect destination for all kinds of events and outings to make your celebrations more joyful. Welcome to a whole new reality that you've always imagined at Lakes of Grace Resort. We are located in Mpuuga, 7 kilometers off Mitiana Road. For bookings and reservation, call 0789 167 598 or 0704 395 848. Lakes of Grace Resort, nature's serenity and beauty's bliss.
You used to tell me that I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Amanya gange nze Nasolo Jamida nvira mukalaji era nga ndi bakinga amandazi donuts maze mu weeks 2 nga traininga wano nyongeddeko obukugu kubanga mbadde nyina skills ezimu ze mbadde sirina ng'okubakinga emigaati mbadde sikimanyi how to manage a business manya nti ebizibu by'aba customer how to find a market.
Grow, generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises.
We have brought you Mirage Goodwill Tales Festival 2024, starting on 1st to 30th June 2024. Mirage and Goodwill Tales are celebrating 6 years of Goodwill Tales on the Ugandan market and also launching the Crown Crane brand on the market. Come and get amazing discounts and many sorts of prizes during this festival. All these can be found at Mirage Tales outlets at GR Plaza, 6th Street, next to National Water Offices, and Bugolobi, Chinatown, opposite Uganda Bati. Call us for more information.
Malaria is estimated to impair up to 60% of children's learning ability. So, malaria prevention and control help improve our children's living, ensure children sleep under a mosquito net every day. This message is brought to you by
Some of the issues, some that are directly pointing at him and generally what the opposition that he has belonged to all his political life looks like. As we took a break, we started off on a conversation, the most trending conversation right now being about the censure motion of you and 3 other commission, as it is definitely. And this is what it reads. Signatures for the motion for removal of commissioners, Honorable Solomon Sinwan, Honorable Esther Foyochan, Prosia Kampurira, and Honorable Mathai. What do you make of this motion? Because it also goes directly to you.
Mildred, unfortunately, we may not go into the substance of this motion and whatever it's about. All I can say is that the law allows an aggrieved person to petition the the members thereon are attempting to petition Parliament to consider investigating those allegations. They're not declaring us guilty of any offense, but they're trying to use their right to petition and cause an investigation. Unfortunately, that matter is also being handled at various stages. I am alive to 2 court cases,
Okay.
Like I said earlier on, and as an advocate, that in a way bars me from going into the substance.
Is that to say now that that is a null and void procedure, now that we have 2 court cases, because that would ride on sub judice?
Surprisingly, 2 of the petitioners are advocates. And I wondered how they would. I even saw my successor, the LOP, leading a team of MPs. The LOP has a team of researchers. He's also a lawyer. I don't know why he wouldn't take benefit of knowledge. Probably speaks to the fact that their intention is not to petition Parliament, but to probably appear to be doing something. I contend that they know what they're doing, and that why would they do it? Aware of the immediate where we can't go into the substance. Let's give opportunity to whoever is raising these questions to be responded to.
Without going into the substance, like you said clearly, I understand the law of sub judice. But do you feel a sense of betrayal? Because we've seen some of your colleagues actually going ahead to sign against this petition, if it were to pass.
I don't want to impeach the motivation, the decision of any of my colleagues in Parliament. Probably a number of my colleagues are experiencing stage fright. I have spoken to so many that have informed me that particular individuals are exerting immense pressure on them, threatening them physically, emotionally, that they have no choice but to append their signatures. And they have been explaining that, look, we budget where this was passed is the same budget in which their salaries and allowances were passed.
Increased?
Yeah, call it increased. And it's the same commission that did it. So can you trace a debate on the Hansard on that? Because being what it is, the budget of Parliament being a statutory budget, it goes through various stages, from where it is initiated by the clerk, who is the accounting officer, to the commission, to the committee of legal, to finance, stroke presidency, to the budget committee, to Parliament. And at all those stages, a member of Parliament is not interested. And then comes out to grand standard at this stage.
Parliament is for all the members of Parliament. Does that differentiate?
No, that is the substance, because if you want me to go into the substance, which I will not, even that particular allegation is false. Okay? But I don't want to go into that. It's just an
we'll let
allegation,
the courts of law.
Because and the treasury. Common sense. So why would I go into that kind of conversation now? But let's give all these so the public should legitimately find answers to these questions.
What seems to be happening, everything, and I definitely don't want to go into the substance as a student of law as well, but do you think that opposition is piercing itself, backstabbing itself with everything that is happening? And is it still formidable for Ugandans to trust?
I think the opposition is not being led. If it was being led, would be having a very different conversation now.
There is a leader of opposition. There is an entire shadow cabinet.
I have referred,
the political party leaders.
I have referred to the fact that the opposition is not being led. I have not referred to the leader of the opposition. And the opposition does not equal to the leader of the opposition. The opposition is various.
That's why I've said there are other political party leaders anyway.
That's the point I'm making, because if the opposition was being led the way it should be led, that conversation would have arisen rightly and placed in the right space. Okay? But when you see matters of this nature arising and then wrong, and where?
That indicts entirely the leaders of the different opposition parties, including your own leader.
I have offered my counsel on what ought to be done, but I can only counsel because I don't make the final decision. But I have an obligation to counsel colleagues, to advise where possible, to speak matters that they elect to speak about. So that's not my space. So as far as I'm concerned, I think I have played my part. Maybe it's not good enough. I have not gone to sleep. I will speak again. I've never stopped speaking to individuals. Even in this storm, I have kept around to speak to whoever wants to listen. You know, I have not pleaded to anybody. I want this public, duty to be questioned, and when the time comes at the right forum, I should be able to give the answers.
We'll wait for that time to come, probably even after the 2 court cases. We'll definitely be asking the same questions. But our time is first spent. There is an upcoming State of the Nation address and subsequently the budget reading. The opposition to which you belong, like it had been even in your tenure, has decided to abscond, to boycott. And I'm asking myself, you participated in the passing of the budget, in all the processes, and now you don't want to attend. I gave it an analogy of you've cooked the food, and then you don't want to eat it, but you want to serve it to others.
First of all, Mildred, boycotting is, first of all, a right, but also it's one of the expressions of that right. Thirdly, it's acceptable in democratic societies. Therefore, nobody should feel offended when one elects to boycott.
What message does it send?
No, you can. First of all, the budget was passed. The day we debated and passed the appropriation bill, the budget passed. What will happen will be a ritual. Therefore, nobody should feel offended. And there are therefore, if sections of parliament choose to stay away, that right should be. No,
does it make any strong statement
I read the statement from the LOP, and he makes a case for the boycott. That's why I'm saying that his reasons should be respected. Because he says, well, would have loved to be there, but because we are expressing dissatisfaction A, B, C, D, we want to make this statement, and that should be respected. I don't want anybody to falter anybody for choosing to say, please, I'm not coming to your party because a nuisance.
But you were part of the meeting to have that party come in place.
Exactly. You have a right to keep away, but because you preoccupy public debate.
For all the reasons that the opposition gives, including the time that you were leader of opposition, have the boycotts yielded any fruit?
No, it speaks to a sense of consistency that when you're going to, because the alternative would be to go to Kololo and become a public nuisance. To go to Kololo and shout. So respectfully, I keep away, and instead of coming to destabilize and disorganize this national function, let me keep away, but make my reasons clear to all and sundry. That should be respected.
Like you clearly said, you make personal decisions and you don't need anyone's approval to take those decisions. Are you personally attending or you're joining the opposition in boycott?
I am part of the opposition. I am part of the opposition, and this time round, I respect the collective of the opposition because there are no personal matters involved. Yeah.
In your own view, as the president comes to speak through, what is your own reading of the state of affairs in the country? Because it's a state of the nation, getting to give us a picture of what is exactly happening.
Well, Mildred, you know, when you're president for 30 plus years, you do not have space to speak normatively. You see, as a leader, you can make positive or normative statements. Positive statement to say, this is, because you make a wish list. As head of state, as president, consistent for 38 years, you lose the right to make normative statements, to say, this ought to be, I would have done it. You have had occasion to have space for normative and positive statements. So for General Museveni, what he owes the public, the nation, is to positively speak to key issues that are afflicting the growth of our democracy. It's 1.5 years to the next round of politics, call it elections or selections. Would like to hear whether Mr. Museveni is committed to finally giving this country a democratic order that is durable. And in doing that, I expect him to make a statement on reforms, key reforms.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying he cannot make normative statements. He has the space, he has the numbers to move the country differently. And so, my expectation, if he wants to remain relevant, is to pose it positively and give this country hope.
What are the key areas you think or you would wish to hear the president speak about on the state of the nation?
Well, we had our budget catapult from 48 trillion to 72, 3 or thereabout. We would like to hear from General Museveni whether, one, this budget can be financed and tell us the sources beyond borrowing. Secondly, whether he is capable, you still feel the energy in the next 2 years to change the economic fortunes of this country away from the normative prospects. That should be spoken about because that will speak to other challenges, unemployment, graduate unemployment, the sprawling unemployment of young people. That is really a killer, one of the biggest problems in this country. Speak to his commitment to reducing public expenditure, throwing back on corruption in the public space.
He's continuously talked about that. Do you think he's normatively speaking and not giving
That's why I'm saying that he has no space to speak normatively. He must positively speak about the possibilities and the actions he's going to take. That's my expectation. But most importantly, to speak to the fact that he can transition the country. He has had the space to say, I have tried this, it doesn't work? Can we still speak about decentralization as working in the circumstances? We expect to be an oil nation in the next probably 2 years. Can you still grow this nation while centralizing?
One of the most definite conversations around and in regard to corruption have been the sanctions against various leaders in government, including ministers. And now it actually, the latest from the United Kingdom, extended to their spouses. Is this something you would wish to feature? And also, what do you feel about such sanctions, that it's another state or other people who have to actually take action against our very own?
Well, the sanctioning regime, the global sanctioning regime, mainly happens when local remedies are not working. I have seen some of the sanctioned persons relate to violation of human rights, because we have spoken about it, and apparently those that we believe should be indicted are not being moved by the local systems, and therefore the international regime catches up on them. Those sanctioned because of corruption, certainly it has two legs. Do we have a local framework to investigate and properly indict them, prosecute them properly? That should be also strengthened, because we are not going to be ruled as a nation from abroad. It's an indictment of the failure of the local systems. So General Museveni must speak to the fact that he is committed to ensuring that the local systems can independently investigate, can independently sanction, investigate and prosecute.
Well spent. But what's been running through my mind is, what does it feel sitting on a parliamentary commission when you were approved by a political party that totally has said, we disapprove of your existence there now?
Yeah, because I contended that the disapproval was not clothed in law, but out of pettiness of those who were engineered it. Because if you're a political party and you speak to wanting to rule by law, but not by, by envious means, by actually it was dubiously processed. That later I know who did that and what they were up to, which is why I said it is cowardly, because it's not backed by any investigation. Because you disagree with me on a matter, then you say, now that we have disagreed, I move you.
Okay. When was the last time you met or had a conversation with your political party leadership?
It's quite a while.
Why?
I also don't know why they do not invite me to have a conversation.
Why don't you reach out yourself?
Well, they are the ones who are hounding me and haunting me. It's up to them.
If you have issues in a home, you reach out as a member of the family. You don't wait for the family to reach out to you after all.
No, I'm not guilty of any offense. No.
If you had to meet your party leadership, what message do you have for them?
No, I'll tell them that they are let down. They're a big let down. The public expect better from them. That the amount of energy, the amount of resources they have committed in wanting to bury the person and the character of Matthias Mpuuga would have been invested elsewhere, because they have failed and they will not succeed.
Is your time up?
And I'll ask them how they feel now that they have not succeeded in that scheme.
Is your time up in the National Unity Platform?
That would be a conversation when my party fails to understand what to do. Because I am a political animal. I consult. I speak to those I agree with and disagree with. Disagreement is normal in politics. But haunting, hounding, disparaging, insulting, character assassinating, slandering is for small people. Small views, small opinions, small prospects. I expect my party to be better. You
saw what happened with the public altercation of Dr. Bedbonika at one of the functions that was going on. Is that something you approve of? Is that something that NUP would approve of?
I'm generally against public altercations. Do you approve of that others who do it?
Not at all.
Yeah, it should really be what is good for Sanyuka. Good for the Uganda.
Is it about character of the persons who are attending, or because we literally see fist fights sometimes?
No, it's because a lot has been going on and the leadership of the party seems to approve of general indiscipline because they have not come out to discourage it. I have seen top party leaders publicly approve of slander. On their own platforms on social media, they're slandering everyone. I am aware they hire individuals, hold drums to even physically assault those they disagree with. That kind of approach to disagreement is for petty people.
What do you see as the future, finally, as we get out, the future of a political party that you joined not too long ago? It took up the leadership of the opposition in parliament with a lot of hope from the Ugandans. What next for them?
Well, the jury is out there for all that matter in the party, those who have the clout in the party, to understand that leading a party into the opposition, at the top of the opposition, and finally to try and make claim to power takes more than what we are doing so far. They are not going to be in a party of yes men and women, with those that are agreeable and disagreeable at some times. On instances, as long as the basic principles in the party are not impeached. Otherwise, if you're going to have a political party of people cult,
Thank you very much. Well, our time is fast spent, but thank you very much, Honorable Matthias Mpuuga, for
extremely
joining
humbled
us.
being here.
Humbled to have your time as well, and we'll continue. We'll wait for the court cases to get through so we can get in the substance of the conversation with regard to the censure motion. Honorable Matthias Mpuuga, Parliament Commissioner, but also a Member of Parliament, and Nyendo Mukungwe. And for you, a viewer, thank you so much.